Humility moves mountains. The more humble you are, the more it's easier for you to be approached by people. You are more approachable. You are able to create relationships. You are able to do business in Africa. We're in the African continent. Arrogance has never worked anywhere. And yes, I do agree there's a lot of people who are successful, but who are arrogant. There's a lot of people who are rich who are arrogant. There's a lot of people who are wealthy who are arrogant. And there's a lot of people who are successful but not humble. So I'm not saying everybody who's successful is humble, but humility moves mountains. Hear it from me. Where did I hear this? I heard this from, well, I've been hearing this all of my life. From Abo Koko, from Abo Tato Mkulu, from Abo Mkulu, from my mentors. And I hear it a lot, or I've been hearing it a lot all of my life from elderly people. It gives you access in being able to create relationships, but it's also easier to maintain relationships because it's easy for people to interact with you. It's easy for people to be in your space because your space is welcoming. It's not intimidating, it's not aggressive, it's not brash, it's not arrogant, it's not boastful. It's, you know, it vibrates in a godly manner. You know, they say humility is umngani wakubothando. Humility is a friend to abo love. It comes from the space of caring, nurturing, loving, support, kindness, compassion. You know what I mean? And every other thing comes from a different space. And I always feel a lot of the deals that I've done in my life, or a lot of the opportunities, I've gotten it from people who say, when I'm fana ngathi ngakuthemba wena, ngathi umfana right. Because in Africa you are dealing with elders, well, most people all over the world who are successful or who've got a lot of money or who are rich and wealthy, it's mostly older people. So in the African continent, that's what they appreciate, older people. Older people appreciate energies that vibrate in their level of frequency. I don't know if I'm making sense. They appreciate that. They appreciate buikoko betu, and that's how we're brought up. They appreciate somebody who's willing to learn, somebody who's willing to serve, somebody who's willing to listen, somebody who's willing to be corrected when they're wrong, somebody who's willing to learn from their own mistakes, somebody who's willing to also serve without even getting a lot of payment that much, but a lot of the work or a lot of the service that you might be applying to that particular cause. Say you are serving your mentor, you are serving an elder, you are serving within an organization that is run by an elder. Sometimes you don't even have to charge. Sometimes it doesn't always have to be about the bag, but about service. Because service is another currency that a lot of people take for granted. Service comes from the same family as humility. You are serving. You are there to apply yourself, to be a follower, to be teachable, to be given a task and complete that task, to be given an exercise and make sure that you see it through, to make sure that you serve to the best of your ability, coming from a place of love, wanting to serve, wanting to get this thing done for your mentor, for your leader, for a particular purpose. You know, it comes from a place of you living your purpose, serving your purpose on earth. So you must never take for granted humility. That's what older people recognize more than anything. If you can be in a boardroom and you've got 3 degrees and you look good, you speak well, you're more educated than everybody else in that boardroom, but there is a kid who just has 1 degree, they probably have got a certain skill set that they're needed for. That's why they're in that room, in that boardroom. But if the person that is either dishing out the opportunity or giving out the mandate, or say that this person is a mentor to both of you or all of you in the room, they are most likely going to be more attracted to you for your skill set and what you are able to do for that period or for that task or for that project at hand, but they're most likely to be attracted to the next person. They might even create a longer relationship with the next person who's more humble than you are. Even though they've got the skill set, they're educated, but not as educated as you are. You with the most education, you with the most everything, you're arrogant. The other person who's more humble, they're most likely are able to even have them, create a relationship with them and have them in their ecosystem longer, even longer than that, just that particular deal. They might even end up doing 20 more deals with them and grow with them. Why? Because they felt their energy. Abantu abadala, they feel energies. They can feel ukuthi ay onkare wa phapha, onkare a tshwarega, onkare ke tsibinki, onkare o bua too much, onkare o phaphazela too much, onkare ke matse ba tsohle, onkare they are not teachable. You know, they look at such things. They are very good judges of character. Have you ever seen elderly people who are so successful that sometimes you're like, but this person is just ordinary? You know, they don't even strike you as the most intelligent person. But they're like, why are they so successful? Because some of their secrets is they're not only humble, but they've got very good judge of character. So they're very careful about who they bring into their environment, who they make to become a team player or to become a team member in their team. So that's my message to young people out there and young professionals is humility moves mountains. You can go very far just by being humble as opposed to you pretending to be Mr. Know-it-all or Miss Know-it-all and just being stepping over other people's toes and just being this person that knows it all, you know, sabutsuing. And as much as you're intelligent and smart, but other people might just work with you just for that particular project because they need your expertise just for that project, but maybe they don't want you in their space. Why? Because they don't feel you're somebody they can have around for longer, but they are more likely to have the next person longer because they are humble. But then also the downside of being humble is society recognizes humility sometimes, not society, let me say most people will recognize humility as a sign of weakness. They recognize kindness as a sign of weakness. They recognize somebody who's teachable, somebody who's humble, somebody who's kind, somebody who's compassionate as somebody who's either an idiot or somebody who might seem like an easy walk over. Do not let society change you. If you're brought up by certain principles and values that have made you to be the person that you are, who's humble, who's teachable, who's compassionate, who's kindness, no matter what working environment you get to be involved in, whether it's hostile and it might sort of end up forcing to change you to become the next another person that you're not, don't fall into that trap. Remain with your true values that you are brought up under. Remain with the true principle of this person that you know you are brought up to be from your humble home. All of those teachings from that home of yours, those are great teachings. Never take those teachings for granted just because now you're in an environment that is hostile. Yes, there's got people that you look up to, people you'd like to be like, who seem successful, but because they're arrogant and their energies keep on and they just vibrate on another level, don't fall into that trap of wanting to be like them now, changing your character. No, humility will take you far. Humility will build your relationships. Humility will open doors. Humility will put you in the front of kings and queens. Humility will put you in front of ministers and presidents. Humility will make you a lot of money if you're smart. Humility will take you far. And never forget to serve from the bottom of your heart without having to expect anything in return. Your checks will come forever in the long run. Look at it from a long-term perspective as opposed to, I gotta get this bag now. Certain things you can just serve and not charge for them, but just out of your skill set that you have and with humility serve. And you can never know, out of that service, it might just open up a lifetime relationship with you, with this mentor person that you look up to, or with this organization that liked you so much, not only that you did a great job in that project, but because of the nature of the type of person that you are, you might end up having to build a long-term relationship with that organization, and you might end up becoming a very successful person yourself. Why? Because of how you carried yourself when you were engaging with fellow employees, fellow colleagues, fellow students, fellow classmates, fellow business partners, fellow friends, etc. Humility moves mountains, bana ba ko gae.